beautiful morning on the east coast of Florida. That's the Atlantic Ocean behind me. The sun is attempting to come up. These mornings are very important to me. It's part of my routine. And I hope that everyone here has a routine that starts your day off in the right way. It's so easy to just, jump out of bed, grab a cup of coffee, and hit the road without considering just all the things you have in your life to be grateful for. I find when I don't do my routine, it doesn't go well. The day starts off the wrong way, and I start with an attitude that I'm not happy about. So I don't really know what I'm going to talk about this morning, other than, just how grateful I am to have the life that I have today. The whole thing about recovery is making big changes in your life. That change doesn't end when I get sober. That change continues. I find that I have a lot of things that are blocking that path to God. In the program, we call those character defects. And I guess that's a lifelong battle. In step 7, we humbly asked him to remove our defects of character. And, I truly believe that he can. I don't know that he always will. Especially when I'm fighting him on it. I'm trying to hang on to some of these character defects. But change is a funny thing. Change is one of the ingredients necessary for growth. Change is one of those things that it's inevitable, first of all. There's no getting out of it. Nothing ever stays the same. I've pointed out here before that in the Bible many times it says, and it came to pass. But never once did it say, and it came to stay. So the change is inevitable. My job is to kind of steer that change in a positive direction. Anybody can change, but I'd like to change for the better if I could. What I find interesting about change is that I have changed many, many things about Earl in the last 15 years. And even though I have changed behaviors, ways of thinking, emotions, spiritual feelings, all of those things have changed, yet I'm more me right now than I've ever been in my life. So how does that happen? I think those character defects were standing in the way of me being who God intended me to be. Now, this is kind of a heavy topic, and I'm used to talking about these kinds of things in a group setting where I get some feedback from other people, and so please know that this is just, all my videos are just off the top of my head. It's just stuff that comes out of me, very little bit of it is textbook stuff. Okay, it's just stuff that pours out, so keep that in mind. But I'm grateful for those changes that have taken place in my life. I'm grateful for the man that I am today. It's possible, it's very possible for me to consider all the things that aren't right about my life and just get all hung up on that. Well, what does that do for my attitude? Not much. Not much. I like having a positive attitude, a positive outlook on life. And so I don't focus on those things that I don't have, that I wish I did. I focus on those things that I do have, that I didn't even realize that I wanted or needed. That's one of the cool things about recovery, is that I received gifts that I didn't even know had value. I have people in my life today that actually care about me. It's not just a BS level of caring. It's real. And in turn, I care about people in a very real way that I never knew how to do before. So I'm grateful for the change. I'm grateful for who I have become through recovery. I used to say that I'm grateful that I'm sober, and it turns out that there's a lot of people that are grateful that Earl is sober. So I'm not the only one that's grateful that I'm sober. But there's so much to that. Sobriety isn't just putting the plug in the jug. It has to do with change. It has to do with becoming a better person today than I was yesterday. Now that requires some work. Not a lot of work, but it does require some work. It requires me to take the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and apply them to my life on a daily basis. How does that work? Well, you know, when we first come into the program, it's about, okay, let's start with step one. You know, we do step one. Okay, yeah, I'm powerless, and my life's unmanageable, and throw your hands up, I'm done. Step two, okay, like that. And I guess that's where we get the idea of working the steps, because we do them in order. Well, after some time goes by, now, been through the steps a couple of times, who knows, once, twice, 3 times, whatever. Now I'm helping someone else go through the steps. And so the steps become just a working part of my life. Remembering, keeping that at the forefront of my mind, that I am powerless. I'm powerless over a lot of things, not just alcohol. I'm powerless over people, places, and things. Now also, the steps are applied in other ways as well. If you're talking step 2, we might as well keep it in order, right? In step 2, I have come to believe, and I'm still coming to believe. Okay? I know that it's like a past tense kind of a thing. We came to believe, like that. Yeah, that was back then. That's back when we came to believe. But we're still coming to believe in a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. Do you think I'm completely sane? Me neither. I'm still a work in progress, no doubt. And then, of course, the whole step 3 thing, that's a lifestyle in itself. How do you turn your will and your life over to the care of a God that you barely understand? Well, as that understanding becomes more real, it becomes a different type of turning it over. There's your sunrise. Isn't that nice? So in step 4, we looked at our character defects. We looked at our harms, our sexual conduct, our resentments. And when we looked at those on paper, we put them down on paper and looked at them. And when we looked at them, were we happy with what we saw? I sure wasn't. Step 4 was like a push pen on a map that says you are here. This is who you are. This is who you've become. And when I share it in step 5, that's when it really becomes real. Like, not only is it on paper that I wrote, but now I'm sharing it with God and with another person. That's pretty real. Now the big question is that who I want to be? Or do I want to make changes? 9 times out of 10, after looking at a 4th step and doing a 5th step, you want to make some changes. And so we become entirely ready. We become entirely ready to have God remove all those defects of character, all those things that we're not happy with that we saw on that step 4 inventory list. Then in step 7, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Now, I guess in a perfect world, a perfect setting, that after making that prayer, we'd be a perfect person. But it doesn't work that way. And so that's why I apply these steps to my life on a daily basis. I think about that inventory list. I think about how I treat other people, because I want to avoid any more need for steps 8 and 9. Because steps 8 and 9, in step 8 we made a list of the people that we had harmed. And we became willing to make amends to them all. That's a tough one, man. I guess for some of us it's not so bad, but it was tough for me. It was quite a list. And then in step 9, we actually make those amends, except when to do so would injure them or others. Very good reason to have a sponsor, I'll tell you. A sponsor can help you determine whether it's going to hurt them or others. Then we get to what some people call the maintenance steps. And I get it. I understand why they call it the maintenance steps. 10, 11, and 12. 10. Step 10 is looking inward again. It's kind of like a mini 4th step, if you will. I look at my day. How did I do today? Did I stay on the path? Did I veer off of the path? Do I owe someone an amends? Did I treat everyone the way that I think I would want to be treated? Did I practice the golden rule? Step 10 gives me room for adjustment. I can adjust my behavior, my line of thinking. I can adjust the way that I treat other people. That's the beauty of step 10. I remember watching my father drive the car when I was a kid. We're on a nice straight interstate highway, but yet he keeps having to adjust the steering wheel, and it's a straight path. I didn't get it. Not at the time, I didn't. Well, wind, road conditions, whatever, You have to adjust as you go along. You can't just set the path right and let go and expect it to stay in a straight line. I kind of relate step 10 to that. Gives me an opportunity to adjust a little bit. Step 11 is all about God. It's all about becoming closer and gaining a better understanding of this God that I never gave time for. And how do I do that? Through communication. If you want to improve your conscious contact with anyone, how do you do that? Through communication. And how do you communicate with God? Through prayer and meditation. Praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Think about that for a second. Praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. I find myself, even today sometimes, slipping up and praying, please give me this, give me that. You know, I mean, God's not Santa Claus, okay? That's not the way this thing works. And I have to remind myself of that on a daily basis. Step 12 is about helping other people. And I know that because it's one of the 12 steps, we think that it only has to do with people in the rooms. But it's not. It's about service work to others. It's about love and tolerance of others. Other people, not just other alcoholics, but other people. So when I take each and every one of these steps and apply them to my life, the change that takes place within me is positive. Those are all positive changes. And so when I say I take the steps and apply them to my life on a daily basis, that's how I direct the change. That's how I steer that inevitable change that's going to happen. There's no getting out of the change. Change is inevitable. Nothing ever stays the same. And so if I can direct that change through applying the 12 steps to my life, that's a much more positive way to live life. And I thank God for that. I thank God for that so much. I thank the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I also thank all the people that have played a part, that have played a role in the changes that have taken place in my life and the man that I am today. I'm extremely grateful. So take the steps, apply them to your life, direct the changes that are taking place. You guys have a great day, and hey, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.